Good morning, PHCC. Welcome to another episode 13 of PHCC Rocks, a podcast focusing on the incredible things happening all across the country with our state chapters and local chapters and PHCC National. And we're here today. We've got one of our strongest chapters today. We've got representatives from the great state of, how do you say it? Nevada. The southern translation. I'm just kidding, guys. The southern translation. The first time I think I met Jordan, I was sitting at a national event and sat down with him, and he wanted to know what country I was from because it was obviously one he didn't recognize, being from the South, and so he's had to correct me. But we're so fortunate today, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about what they do in the great state of Nevada. And start with Jordan if we can. And man, let's hear it, Jordan. Welcome to PHCC Rocks, man.
Jordan Krahenbuhl, Executive Director of PHCC of Nevada. So,
I'm Dave Svoboda. I am the apprentice coordinator at the PHCC of Nevada.
And my name is Svoboda. I'm the office manager here at the PHCC of Nevada.
I don't think that's true. I think Echo, you're in charge.
yes, she is.
Yes, you're in charge. I came out for the Christmas gala, and it was you told me before we got there that Echo was in charge, and then when I got there, I said, okay, there's no doubt. There's a lot of yes ma'ams, right. In the South, we immediately yes ma'am, yes ma'am, yes ma'am, and so I saw that a lot on that. But guys, listen, thank you so much for joining us. For me, this has been just a great experience. This is episode 13, and I'm just really excited to hear all across the country the stories of how the people have gotten involved with PHCC. And it's always interesting. The journeys go back and forth, and not many people that I've talked to have said, okay, I'm going to start off and this is exactly what I'm going to do. And I don't know all of your backgrounds. I know a little bit about Jordan's, but if you can, give us, some background, because that's what people want to hear about, is how you ended up where you are, and, give us maybe a little bit of background. I think we're going to start with Dave, if you're going to give us some of that.
All right, sure. Well, it kind of goes back a little ways. I want to, I don't know. You're right. I don't know that anybody really plans on getting plans on being a plumber or getting into the industry. Even those who are born into it always seem to venture off another direction and then kind of end up back in plumbing. But I kind of ended up in plumbing by accident. I had moved out to Las Vegas from a small town in Wyoming. Moved out here, didn't really know what I was getting into a big city, coming from a small town. I was working in a casino, made some acquaintances that I had made were in construction, framing to be exact. And they said, hey, I know a guy, the plumber on my job site is hiring. I could probably put a good word in for you. And that's kind of how that the plumbing process started for me. I went from a graveyard shift in a casino to I liked being up in the daylight and not up at nighttime. So,
well, I think the air conditioning plant, the contracting business is legalized gambling anyway, so that it kind of fits, though, doesn't it?
So, I moved out to Las Vegas in '98. Wow. And started plumbing that summer in July, which was the hottest month out here. So, coming from a small town where, the hottest temperatures were in the mid 90s, and I was really kind of thrown into it, in that first summer. But for some reason, it didn't really affect me too much. And maybe it was because I came into it in the middle of the summer, so it was kind of a shorter summer. But I worked right through that, and went into the next summer, kind of knowing what to expect and knowing how to prepare for the heat and stuff like that. So good.
And then you missed a meeting or something, and they made you get involved in this education.
Well, as far as how I got involved with the PHCC, so Echo and I are married, obviously. So,
That's why I'm sitting between them.
yeah, we gotta be separated here. She might slap me here.
Well, we understand. Anybody, I've been married a long time. I understand. How long have
Oh,
y'all
I
been
can
married?
read.
What's this, Echo, Dave, Echo, how long have y'all been married? Let's get the same answer.
Well, it's been, almost 10,
13
11,
years.
12?
And I knew it. See, I'm glad my wife's not on here with us, because if you asked me, that'd be in trouble. But,
Yeah, how that long have been married.
are you almost
That was-
straightened?
Oh, we need time to research that.
Are you almost
13
straightened
years.
out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, so we were actually high school sweethearts.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, that's great.
And we kind of, after high school, we ended up going our separate ways. I ended up coming to Las Vegas. She stayed there in Wyoming.
Hmm.
It was about 10 years that we were separated. And then you remember MySpace? You remember that thing, MySpace?
That sounds familiar, but I don't.
Around like before Facebook.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do remember. Okay.
Around and really took off, and then kind of buried MySpace, I think is what happened. So anyway, I found her on MySpace, and she had a note on there that said, recently divorced or something, single and available. And then I
That was my description.
saw my opportunity, and I pounced on it.
Oh,
And-
God, here we go.
There was a few long road trips, back to Wyoming to spend time with her and get reacquainted. Matter of fact, I believe it was the first or second trip back up there. I had to leave late afternoon on a Saturday because I was taking my journeyman exam, and I had my truck all packed up. I went down to the county building, took my test, and then got in my truck and drove back to Wyoming. And
So did you drag her to Vegas, and then she made you do all the PHCC stuff? Is that what happened?
that's kind of how it happened.
Well, that's what I was thinking you were going to get to, but
So I actually had to move back to Wyoming because she had some kids already and stuff, and I didn't feel like it was fair to, drag a bunch of, 2 kids and her to a big city and, and try and figure out their way. It was easier for me to go back there.
sure.
I did. I went back there. It took me 6 years to convince her to move out here.
Okay.
So,
And so then now we're going to get the real story from Echo, and then how did you end up in PHCC?
Okay, so, well, all that history stuff is correct, pretty much. He got that right. But so what, a friend of his actually started a company here in Las Vegas while he was living in Wyoming. And so, that was part of his convincing, is because he had a job lined up ready to be a supervisor at this company. So that gave me some security, I suppose, to
Sure.
move down here, but I needed a job. And I came from the finance world in Wyoming and small town Wyoming. So we came down here about a month before we wanted to move, and I tried to find a job in that same field. And I learned that coming to Las Vegas with just a resume in my hand, a little bit of experience, and a bumpkin accent was not enough to get me a job where I wanted a job, where I thought I wanted a job.
Okay.
I struck out with the banks and the mortgage companies, and the owner of the company that Dave was going to work for said, well, I just joined this association and they need an office manager. Try applying there. It was just a job. I just needed a job. And so I applied.
How long ago was that? Ballpark?
2014,
Okay.
but 8 years ago, 7 years ago. But so I applied, they took a chance on me and hired me. I'm very grateful. But that's how I got into the PHCC, was purely by.
I think I helped her get in there, though. I mean,
Sure, Dave, take credit for that, man. Good luck. Good luck with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
That was
just-
it.
I thought it was all Dave that got her
So
here.
Yeah.
so you're explaining how you married up, Dave. That's what you're saying. So, all right, Jordan. So, and then that's how you became in charge. And so then Jordan came along. How long, Jordan, have you been?
Been here 3 years.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was 3 or 4. Have you got him straightened out, Echo?
We're working on it.
Working on it, okay. And man, your background, Jordan, is pretty fascinating to get to where you are. Give us some of that.
Born and raised in the plumbing and heating
Yeah.
business. My 3 older brothers, my dad, my grandpa, blah, 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 all plumbers, in Salt Lake City. Born and raised in it. Thought that was what I was gonna do my entire life is work in the family business, and things happened the way they did, and we all kind of went our own separate ways, and came to Vegas and started working as a plumber in Vegas, and article in the newspaper, Sunday newspaper, a job for an inspector at Clark County Building Department, and didn't know anybody, just applied and went through the process, and 5 months later I started as an entry-level inspector at Clark County, and then a couple of years later I ended up being the lead plumbing and mechanical person for the department, and I was that way for about 28 years. Involved in the code process with IAPMO and code development, both locally and nationally, and all of that. And then I retired after 30 years at Clark County, and towed my Harley around the country. My wife and I towed my Harley around the country, and took a few months off, and I got back, and I stayed pretty busy until noon. But there
the first day, or just, I'm just kidding.
you know, it started to become a couple days in a row. I was watching TV in the afternoons, and I'm thinking, okay, I got to do something. So I went to an IAPMO meeting. I went to an IAPMO meeting, and just seeing what was happening, just listening in, and one of the board of directors, Tom Elliott at the time, and our JATC guy, Tracy Barley, chairman, came up and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm watching Oprah." So just started talking from there, and a few months later I started with PHCC of Nevada, and been here just over 3 years.
Yeah. Well, I think it's all across the country having these conversations. It's really interesting, the professionalism, the connections that different people have in different places. Like, you know, all your background with what you did for 30 years led to all the professionalism and an understanding of the industry. And then, you know, listening to you guys growing up in the business, you know, and doing what you did, Dave, and everything. And then all those tie-ins have made y'all an incredible team, is what it sounds like. You know, when the different perspectives. Yeah, the different perspectives. And I hear that a lot as we go through this. It's, you know, they're very complementary of each other, and different experiences lead to a lot of success. And that's, and I think it takes it in our associations too, because there's such a wide variety. It's amazing the width and the depth of what you guys cover, isn't it? You know, it's, think about what you guys are doing day to day. It's amazing. And how many people total do you have on the team?
We have, myself, Echo, and Dave. We also have an office assistant. Her name is Dawn Holden. She does a great job. Then we have our instructors, right?
Yeah, we have 4 instructors in the south, and we have 3 instructors in the north, up in Reno. So yeah, we have 7 of them.
And then an instructor assistant that kind of bounces all over the place.
Yeah.
Keeps that organized is kind of the contact for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now everybody has a full-time job that they do, except for Echo and Jordan, I suppose now, but the rest of us, the instructors and myself, we all plumb all day long, and then we come here and teach at night.
Yeah.
I really, you know, commend all of our instructors for the commitment that they have done, you know, throughout the years. We have a really good team.
Yeah. Well, it's obvious you can see that when you guys are as successful as you can. And Jordan, with the, you know, a lot of the movement over the last 3 to 4 years, give us some numbers and maybe some thoughts on what you're seeing with how that's going, you know.
Okay, so we started this association started in 1980, right around 1980. Right now, as we sit here today, we have 115 member companies, 61 contractor members, 49 associate members, and 5 government members. And the government members are super important, and I'll talk about that later. But it would have been 1989, right around there, when I was working for Clark County. I helped PHCC of Nevada start their apprentice program.
So before you got in, you were already seeing all the importance of that connection.
Yeah, and I've worked with PHCC of Nevada pretty much since their inception, since I got here. The thing that we have going for us is our board of directors. I'll put up our board of directors, our president, vice president, board against anyone's. They're terrific. They give us the tools that we need to do our job and do our job really well. And they're simply amazing. Our staff, obviously, our instructors, and really another part that makes us great is all of our volunteers on all of our committees and all of our events and everything that we do. We have a great participation from our members to getting involved and helping whenever we need something. But really, it all comes from our board of directors. That's where everything starts, and they give us what we need to be successful. So, Dave and Echo.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with him with our board of directors. They're amazing. You know, I've only been here since 2014, but I've heard stories of the legends before me that started this, you know, association. And I think right now, though, I think we could safely say we're among some of the ones that'll become legends in the future. You know, our president right now, Howard Arata, is just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he'll go down in history with this place. There's tons of them: Dave Bold, Angelo and Joe Casaro, Tracy Garvey, those kind of people. Rich Krusetsky, may he rest in peace. It's really cool knowing these people professionally and personally. They're just amazing, and that never would have happened if I wasn't in an association like this.
Yeah, we really have a lot of support from all sides and aspects. You know, it's great, the camaraderie we have with all of our member contractors as well.
Yeah, and
Joe,
it takes. Go ahead.
One thing real quick is, I was at the meeting when we went to the State Apprenticeship Council. It was in '89 probably, when we finally went for our approval, and that's a tough one to go through. And you know, some of the legends of the game, I guess, Gene Gorlick, Angelo Casero, you saw him get work back then.
Yep.
Steve Hawley, Ken Cox, there were a bunch of them back then. But finally, you know, one of them it kept coming back to money. And finally, Gene Gorlick, just a great guy, but maybe a little bit hot-tempered at the time, he stood up and he says, "I'll write you a check for $50,000 right now." He says, "Now give me your excuse of why you're going to turn us down," and everything.
And it went from there, didn't it? You know, that's kind of how the Education Foundation, National Education Foundation, got started. Some contractors decided to put their money up, and then it just went. And so now it's a 14, 15, $16 million entity that is changing our industry. And so it's the same thing with you guys in Nevada. You have contractors decided to do it, and then it changed your industry, you know.
Where? You said Nevada. I don't know what that is.
I didn't hear anything. Your hearing's going bad, old man. I swear, I knew we were going to get into that. I went up to Maine about 3 months ago or 2 months ago with another meeting, and oh my gosh, these poor guys were, every time I talked, they would say, "What?" But anyway, thanks, Jordan. You know, one of the things with this that's come out as we've done these podcasts is every state or local is winning on different things. You know, we're so unique because of the states. And I actually like that setup, because I think we're testing grounds kind of, you know, and I've talked about kind of like the country is, you know, the states are testing grounds, and we should take best practices all over the country and copy them that's what's working and then get rid of what's not working. And so you guys, if I ask you a question, what do you think are your best practices? Talk about that some if you can. I don't know who wants to get into that, but.
Well, I think my opinion is, and it was kind of my goal when I started, we have a phenomenal relationship with our building departments throughout the state. We have a lot of participation from them. Our judges at our apprenticeship contest were, all of them except one, were all from local building departments. I guess maybe because that, I had 30 years experience working for Clark County, but we have a great relationship with them. If one of our contractors has a problem, they call up and the building departments know they're one of our guys and help them through the process, whether it's plan review or inspections or whatever. And I know we do a great job of those relationships, and they're members of ours. We have 5 government members, 4 of them are building departments, and they're a part of what we do, and we have great support from them. Kevin McCosker, the building official director for the city of Las Vegas, he was on a podcast for a national podcast, and they said, well, who's the funnest group you work with? And he goes, oh, by far PHCC of Nevada.
Oh, that's awesome. There you go. Well, I think that's important.
We have a great relationship, even with state agencies, any government agency, because our goal was to be, through the state of Nevada, the go-to place for anything plumbing, mechanical. So it doesn't matter what it is or who it is, most of the time they call us.
Yeah.
And we can either take care of the problem, fix the problem, give them the right contact that they can get it taken care of. But we've done a really good job throughout the state, whether it's government, whoever it is, of being kind of the go-to place. Anything plumbing and HVAC, we get that call.
Well, and it's not that way all over the country, but you have to focus on it to build those relationships, because it's a two-way street, it's a partnership. And a lot of times in different places in the country, I'm not sure either side, takes on the initiative to make sure that partnership is working together like you guys. And I could feel it when I was out there for your, the involvement that you had of the partnerships with the cities and I guess the counties out there. But it was obvious, and it wasn't just it was a partnership. It was a really close knit, caring partnership. You could see that. So that's great. That was great news. Anything else? I know so you think that's one of the biggest things you got going compared to other parts of the country?
I do, because they're not only do we have a relationship with them, but we're friends with them. We have a work, and they come to all of our events and are very, very supportive. And my idea and my goal was to go to the building departments and state agencies and say, how can we help you? So that they're not just hearing from us when something's wrong. Yeah. They hear from us trying to help them. And, if they have a code question or, an installation question or whatever it is, they can call us, and we have somebody within our organization that can answer the question. And they're really a lot more receptive when there is a problem to listen to us and help us, because we've already been there and we have that relationship of helping them.
If you don't have that relationship, then when there's a problem, it can be a lot bigger issue. So it's okay. And
I think that's one thing we do really well.
Yeah, your contractors have to love that, because that immediately means that if they're a member of PHCC, the building partners look at it and go, okay, these departments, they know, well, these guys are in PHCC, Jordan and Echo, and they're helping them operate at a higher level. So that's great news. Let's switch gears. Or you got anything else to add? Anybody? Sorry.
I would just say, maybe if other chapters are wondering how to even get that relationship started, like Jordan said, going in there, is there anything we can help you with? We've also found maybe if there's something an inspector isn't doing right in the field, and maybe it's just a training thing, we take the initiative to offer any type of training that we see out in the field, and we'll offer it to inspectors, to plumbers, you know, and we work in conjunction with IAPMO to help with that. So it's rather than yelling and screaming, you're not inspecting this right, you know, here's a training, you guys want to partake in it, that helps.
You're giving them a path to a solution instead of just complaining and not doing anything about it. Yeah, that's huge. Okay. So we switch gears a little bit. I like to find out something, if you can, talk about something that nobody knows about you that you're willing to share.
About this part, Joel, I can't wait to hear. You know,
Okay.
so,
Who's going first?
yes.
Okay, well, fine, full disclosure, I knew this question ahead of time.
This is a family show, Echo.
It's a family.
This question has kept me up at night, okay? So I've been thinking, what do not many people know about me? And there's a reason people don't know these things about me, and they're not gonna know them today either.
Okay.
So nothing.
So nothing exciting, no, but I can drive a stick. That was one thing that I came up with that people are surprised about. I
You can
learned
drive a forklift.
I can drive a forklift, I can drive a scissor lift, so it kind of blows people's minds when they see me jump in their equipment and take off. I do come back usually. So not only can I drive a stick, but I on occasion can outdrive my husband on the golf course.
Yeah,
So
it's,
So there's that too.
I mean, it's happened.
When did that happen?
It's hard to gauge because, you know, she drives,
No.
goes from the ladies' tees.
No, I've taken account for that.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
outright
do, don't too. Sure.
Now you know why I'm sitting between it.
I was getting ready to say, so Echo, I'm gonna say that a little bit differently. All across the country, we're learning that women in the industry is a great thing and they can do anything better than men. Is that?
Oh, no, that's accurate. Sure.
All right. I'm trying to help you, Dave. You're in big trouble, man. If she's out driving you, man, you're in deep trouble, but that's okay. She probably actually hits it in the fairway too, doesn't she?
Yeah, well, I tell you what, you know, she got some new clubs for Christmas and they're really paying off.
I think it was sabotage before that because all my clubs were men's clubs. So, you know, the driver was all the way up here, you know, and then he got me women's clubs and watch out.
Yeah, I would say most improved in our little golf outing, our little foursome. She is really coming on.
She irritates me every Monday morning because they golf on Sundays. Every Monday morning she comes in and I go, how'd you golf? And she goes, good. And I'm like, dang it.
Good.
Best. Okay, this is the best. I'm sorry, Dave. We're going to skip you, Dave. Who's next? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
On the scorecard, because she gives up, but.
Okay. So what do we need to know about you, Dave, besides the obvious?
Yeah.
Besides, you can get outdriven by your wife.
Right.
What else?
Well, it doesn't really have much to do with plumbing, but I was, you know, I was born in 1977 and I am a Star Wars baby, I guess.
Oh, yes.
I was born in September, but I was at the first movie in the theater listening to it subliminally, and that's I've been hooked ever since. So.
No, that is a great timing. You know, I'm glad you said it. My father took my brother and I to see Star Wars in a drive-in. And I mean, think about it now with all the surrounds, everything. The first movie was I don't know how, I was 66 or 11 or whatever. When it didn't, 77 or 78 when it came out, 76. But sitting in a drive-through with the speaker on the window, listening to Star Wars, can you imagine compared to that? But it was great. I fell in love with it then too. That's awesome. Okay, I'm liking that. That's a lot better than that golf crap we just heard. So, all right, Jordan. All right, Jordan.
Just a couple of things. I have 11 grandchildren.
That's right. Yeah.
People go, what? Yeah, so I have 11 grandchildren spread out throughout the country. And then I guess my biggest thing is I'm a lifelong Elvis fan. I love Elvis. When I went to Graceland, I stayed at the guest house at Graceland, really nice hotel. And I'm pretty sure that's what heaven's going to be like, because wherever you go in the hotel, Elvis is singing something. So I'm a lifelong Elvis fan, so there you go, so yeah. Just telling you, so, yeah,
Elvis and my grandma have the same birthday,
really?
same day.
What are you
same
trying
year,
to
same
compare me
hour.
to your grandpa?
No,
for?
just saying.
I've just figured out a lot. Now I realize too, one of the other movies, we're tied, something's wrong with this whole experience. My only real Elvis experience is we have a old movie theater here in Gastonia that was really old. It's like one of these little small theaters. And my cousin was babysitting me probably about the same time that I saw Star Wars. And her and her girlfriends, I had to go with them to see one of his Elvis beach movies. That's the only Elvis. And I remember the next time she was babysitting, I was crying, trying to get my mom, please don't make me go back. Cause I mean, I just did not want to go sit through an Elvis at the beach movie at 11. Can you imagine?
Yeah, the Elvis in Hawaii, with the national broadcast when I was a kid, pretty much changed my life. And that was it. That was a life-changing experience. Right? So just
okay, we're gonna Amy, we're gonna delete that out of this thing. So that's he'll never recover from that across the country. But no, listen, and I think the reason we do that, I think, man, we're all so much business, in this industry now, and man, it's go, 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 go. But we're also connected with things like that. Our American experiences, we are so tied together with the different ages and everything. So I just love listening to those kind of things. And then it's also leads to, next time we see Dave, we can all give him grief about his golf game. So we'll send you clubs or golf lessons or something, man. It's bad. So listen, I do want to switch back now, and thanks for that stuff, guys. And thanks for it being so personal. That's good. That's great stuff. I came out in December to your Christmas gala, and, for me this year, I'm 6 months into this year as being president nationally, but what has really started to really strike me is the relationships you guys have built, just like you have, so when you go and you walk in a room and you know one or two people, a lot of times I'm really sitting back, listening and watching people interact and all these kind of things. And you said it earlier, Jordan, if you remember, we were sitting at your house eating too much food. And I didn't say anything, but I'm looking at the clock going, don't we need to go, Jordan? Don't you need to be there? Don't you need to, probably, yeah, we're going to be late, because most of the time the executive director, when there's something like that going on, is stressed out, is running around like a chicken with his head cut off. Right. And I'm just, I've been to a lot of things. Think about, I've been to things all over the country, and it was like no big deal. We come strolling into the casino and go upstairs, and everything was just perfect, and it was running. And I think, yeah. And so the teamwork is where I was going. And so, then, you come in and everybody's in such a great mood. And I know it was a Christmas party, but guys, it's been 2 years of grief and tough with the mask and COVID. And you guys just seemed like, you were just at a different level with the partnership and the excitement and hugging everybody, and everybody was just so, and I know coming out, maybe everybody was just really glad to see each other because of that, but talk about, maybe talk about that. And I was really impressed. And so just talk a little bit about that event and, maybe what it means to you and those kind of things, if you could.
That event, it was supposed to be our 40th, but then we couldn't do our 40th. So it was 40th plus one, but we considered it our 40th, but it's just, I'll let Echo and Dave expand on a little bit more, but it's always been, I've been going to them for over 30 years. It's just a great way of everybody gets together. And I want to talk about the camaraderie between our members a little bit later, but they get together, they giving each other hugs, they're donating to a charity, it's for one cause, and it's really, I don't know, just to get together and spend time away from work with each other. And a lot of our members that really enjoy each other's company, and really, even though they're maybe competitors, they really enjoy each other's company and like being around each other. And that's the most fun part about it for me, is to see everybody get together. So
I would say it's obviously the one time of the year where everybody can relax. We don't really talk shop. We just enjoy each other's company, like he said, as fierce competitors during the day, best friends at night. we take a lot of time and effort into the party because that's our one time in the year that we can really show our appreciation to our members and especially our board of directors. Our board of directors serve a 2-year term, so every other Christmas party is the induction of the new board. So like this last one, our 40th, that was special. Every time a new board is inducted, we try to make that kind of more of a fancier, more elevated type party. And on the off years, we keep it casual. So it gives our members every other year a reason to dress up, and then, you know, the other years they can keep it easy. But it's a lot of work, but it's very rewarding and looked forward to all year long by everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think too, you say you have 115 members and 61 different contractors or whatever, 61 contractors, but there was 200 plus people there.
At least,
Yeah, there were like
300
250.
maybe?
Yeah, close.
250.
Yeah.
It was a big event, and you know, in North Carolina we have a summer convention, and it's a family thing. You know, it's a we don't talk shop. It's the same kind of thing. It's a 2 or 3 day thing, and it is the most popular thing we do. And I kind of felt that way, you know. And like my kids have grown up with other kids, and they're in college now, and they're going, "Are we going to the beach this year?" And you know, and it's because of the people. You know, it's because of that. And I felt that way that night with you guys, and then. Really the charity, the Ronald McDonald House thing that, you know, all across the country, I think it's something that doesn't get said enough is the work each state, you know, is doing. How did can you remember, how did you get tied to that group? Is that a repetitive thing or?
No, so the charity at our Christmas party is repetitive. We pick a different one every year.
Okay.
Let's try to keep it a local charity.
Right.
And we try to keep it to a charity that needs stuff. Every charity needs money, but we like to get stuff, and there's 2 reasons. So we put, as you remember, a big Christmas tree at the party, and we ask everybody to bring something for the charity. We give them a list of all the items. And so when you bring stuff rather than money, it looks visually impactful. We had a tree that was stacked halfway high with all of these toys and donations. So for one, it's for the aesthetics of it. And for 2, it's more affordable for people. You know, some contractors can give money, but when their employees come to the party or other people that don't have that kind of money come to the party, they want to give too. And when you're just giving stuff, and we usually pick charities that need like toiletries, easy stuff from the Dollar Tree, you know. And so it makes it so everybody can participate, and it's a big impact. We also have a representative from the charity come up on stage and speak to the crowd about their charity, so that gives them a little bit more legs going down the road. But we do it every year, just the charity changes. Sometimes we match it to our theme. One year our theme was America, just being patriotic, so our charity was the USO.
Oh, wow.
Another year our theme was Ugly Sweater. Our charity was the Animal Foundation, so they brought in one of their rescue dogs in an ugly sweater.
Oh, okay. I didn't know where that was going. I was just making sure. Yeah.
So the charity is a big part of it, you know, the warm, fuzzy part of the Christmas party.
Well, it is, especially that time of year. And so, I mean, you could feel that all through the night, and then everybody, I think it's a good lesson for everybody to hear on best practices, what you said about the tree and having a couple different ways to give, because that is always a problem. You know, everybody wants to be a part of it, but then everybody's got a little bit different situations. Oh, that was a great point. And then the other thing I saw that you did was all the awards you did and how well received they were. And, you know, there was different younger contractors, you know, but then you went to the length of the gentleman that wasn't there, and I am so sorry, but you know, and you mentioned him the guy that wasn't there that you brought him up actually did a video with him.
Angelo Cesaro.
Yeah.
Well, taking it to the length, Echo, where, okay, you knew he wasn't going to be there, but you didn't care. You went ahead and did it, you know, and you zoomed him in. I think you zoomed him in, right?
And that was pretty interesting because Angelo found out he was getting a Lifetime Achievement Award, and his company party was already booked, and people were RSVP'd to it, so he couldn't, and he was disappointed that he couldn't come. And I said, all right, Angelo, we learned from COVID, we can Zoom it, right? And so me and Angelo figured that out together, testing it at the restaurant and stuff. So I was glad we could.
Just as an outsider, you know, a couple of things like that you can take. Well, the guy didn't come. You know, if anybody that wants to look at it the wrong way, but I took it as the most dedicated thing, both sides, you guys getting together, being dedicated to each other, and then him on his, I thought that was one of the best parts of the night is when he jumped up on the, you know, it was just beautiful. Everybody, you could feel everybody in the room laughing with him. And so it was really powerful. But I
think it was good, Joel, too, is it ended up being really great because his whole company at the party saw him get the award.
It was actually more powerful.
Worked out really well.
Yeah, so congrats on that. And then the last thing on that was all the stinking giveaways. I was worn out. Everybody, it was about 5 people worn out carrying all that stuff. So you went into that, didn't you, to make sure everybody gets something?
No. My daughter was there.
I didn't win anything. I don't remember winning anything.
I would say that's the runner's fault.
That's right. Yeah. But I thought, you know, I mean, there was a ton of stuff that was really well received. You know?
Yeah, that's a big part of it as well. And a lot of companies use our Christmas party as their company Christmas party. They bring their employees to it. They don't have to do any of the work, but they, you know, get to be a part of the industry. So we really push for members to bring awesome prizes because we sell those raffle tickets. So that, you know, that helps us offset the cost of the party, but it also makes it more exciting for everybody that's there. And we have this last year, we had an Oculus, you know, the 3D thing, Golden Knights game tickets. So do things. The lesson for other chapters is make sure you're doing a lot of fun things as you're doing your other work. Just make sure you're tying in fun things and then charity work together. People really get behind that charity work with you. Yeah, I think so.
Good stuff. All right. So, you know, I was blessed to be able to come to this thing and saw the great work you're doing, but what other, you know, things do you have coming up this year or in the near future that you want to talk about?
I want to talk about what we have coming up, but also what we just finished. We just finished our apprentice competition.
Oh, that's right.
We've been told that we're one of the largest in the country. This year we had 14 competitors. How many exhibitors?
16.
16 exhibitors, games for the kids, a dunk tank, all of that. And what we have coming up is we have both our apprentice graduations, both in the north and in the south. When I say north, that's the Reno area. South is the Las Vegas area. And then we have open enrollment. But I want to say something real quick, Joel, about you were saying why I didn't stress out about the Christmas party. And it's the same reason I don't stress out about the apprentice program or apprentice graduations or the competition. And that's because of these two. Sure. And Don Holden, who works in our office, this isn't their first rodeo. They've been doing this a long time. They know exactly what they're doing. We have the events committee, we have the JATC we have tons of volunteers. And again, our board of directors, we had one of our board of directors at the apprentice competition was here at 7 in the morning to help.
I had him working all day.
Working all day. So, but these two really know what they're doing, and they have it down, and they're quite frankly, they're great at it.
They're dedicated.
They're great at what they do, whether it's the Christmas party, our luncheons, anything to do with the school, the competitions, graduations, anything. Between these two, our board, our volunteers,
our apprentices too.
Yeah, our apprentices.
Got to include the apprentices.
But that's why I don't worry about it, because they worry about it.
Yeah.
And they do a great job.
Well, let's talk about the apprenticeship and the school, and that's because all across the country, you know, we're faced with this labor shortage and workforce development, and every conversation I've had is ended up talking about that. And every state's doing it a little different, winning differently, losing differently, whatever, but all the contractors are so interested in it. So talk about your schooling, your education program, talk about all that.
Go, man.
All right, well, I think starts with our JATC, you know, and our interview process. We, you know, a few years ago, our first year apprentice numbers in relation to our fourth year graduate numbers were nowhere near where we thought that they needed to be, right? We might have 13 apprentices come in on first year, and we're graduating only 3 at the end of the fourth. So we really focused our efforts on the interview process and kind of tightening up that area as far as the math and the testing requirements that we went through. And then we went even further and buttoned up our interview process and kind of went a little bit deeper into each individual person. And we feel that we're really selecting the apprentices that are they're gonna last, and it's really showing.
Okay.
Last year we had, I think, was it 13 graduates? And the year before that, it was like 16 or something like that. And this year we have 16 again. So our graduate numbers are rising, which is where we want to be. And as far as our internal program goes, I think we have our curriculum down to where we need it to be, and we're relying a lot on Cengage and the online book that they offer. We're making the transition right now with our first year students. We have gotten rid of the paper textbook, and we're now 100% online. And now we can administer tests on that application. It immediately gives the score to the student and to the instructor as soon as they hit submit. So I think we're really on the right track. We've streamlined some things, and we're definitely moving in the right direction.
So talk about this north and south thing that people that don't understand. What is that? What is that all about?
Oh, well, we're the PHCC of Nevada.
Of what?
Nevada.
Yes, Nevada. So we have, we have a large group down in the south. We have, I think, what is our numbers down here? 71 apprentices in the south, and I think up in Reno we have 8.
Okay.
So I mean, Reno is on the rise, and they're getting larger. We're getting more membership interaction. So we are running everything from the south and kind of remotely. We have some instructors up there who are helping us out. I have a apprentice coordinator type person up there who's handling those type of duties for us. But there's definitely a challenge being so disconnected, and but we're making do, and I feel like we're growing that.
Well, I think that's important. Like in North Carolina, we have urban areas that have a pretty high density of people, and then we have all this rural application where we have contractors all over the state, but we're 9 hours to drive across the state, so it becomes it's the same kind of thing where it becomes a logistical problem if we don't have our local chapters really carrying a lot of that water for us and partnering on that. And so the online thing has really made a massive difference for our recruiting, if nothing else. Or y'all, I'm assuming you guys are starting to see those numbers. When I hear you basically have 80 people, 80 apprentices, is that somewhere around 80? Mm-hmm. And you've only got 61 contractor members. I mean, that's got to be a great, if you think about those numbers, 2 numbers together, that's huge, that you've got that many apprentices going. So is it helping you with recruiting and talking PHCC up? Are you starting to see outcomes with that?
Yeah, I would say. Yeah. I mean, since Jordan's been here, I mean, our members have grown significantly, and, we're seeing a lot of, new member contractors who may have not, used the PHCC to the fullest extent. And they're like, you're a member of this association, you should utilize the apprenticeship and get you an apprentice into the program. And a lot of them are doing it that didn't used to do it. Yeah. So I think it's really growing in all directions.
And we're seeing a lot of younger, I call them kids, but say kids coming out of high school, really still struggling with that I've got to go to college to be successful mentality. And a lot of it's just coming from their parents. But this, and I know here with our people here, they have this direct path and direction, and they get excited about it because every day they're seeing something that they can apply to exactly what they're doing, and they're not waiting 4 years to get some outcome that they're not sure about. And so we're just really seeing a lot of excitement about that across the country. Sounds like you guys are too. What else? What advice would you give? I know y'all are spread out. Do you have any advice you'd give to people that are struggling with that? Call Echo maybe. I'm just.
Sure. Well, if you're talking about other programs, apprenticeships, definitely check into that Mind Tap from Sungage, because it's been a game changer here. And especially if you have only online students, you could do it with Mind Tap. Not necessarily on having to do with that, but there's another program that I've kind of been implementing or getting going with the Goodwill here to also help our contractors and help people trying to get into the trades. So during our open enrollment process, one of the issues we see is people just off the street that aren't currently working for a plumbing contractor that want to get into the trades but have nothing, Yeah. Didn't grow up with anybody at home teaching them anything about tools, knows nothing, but wants, we always tout, get into the trades, but then it's hard to even get your foot in the door if you don't know what kind of screwdriver this is or anything like that. So the PHCC partnered with Goodwill, and we're doing a boot camp, a 3-week boot camp that just teaches people that, how to read a tape measure, that it'll give them their OSHA 10, it'll give them forklift awareness training, and it'll roll them into applying for our apprenticeship program. My hope is that even if they can't make it into the apprenticeship program, it gives them a little something so that they can at least be a laborer, and that's what you need to start. Just something to start, a small tool bag and a little bit of knowledge, and so that's one of the areas I'm kind of dabbing in, because I think that there's an issue there that could be fixed.
Echo, I think that's a great point. I know here, and I've heard it in 3 or 4 other conversations, like we're partnering with we have a local high school that's actually starting an air conditioning curriculum that looks like it'll be tied to when they finish their first 2 years in high school, they'll have a jump start on the apprenticeship program that we have. So that all those credits will actually go into that, and they can test out of the first couple of years. And it looks like they're going to be able to make that work, but it's because of relationships with people. And it's a high school that's really close to our office, but that's happening all over the country where, PHCC contractor groups are going to different school systems and starting that. So building those relationships, looking for different partnerships is what I'm hearing that you're doing there. Goodwill is a great example of a path to find people, and it's not it's not with people hear Goodwill, but it's really building partnerships so people have an avenue to success. Yeah. Okay.
It's strictly for the people that we're doing it for. So yeah.
I think you're
about it.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
About it, and I think it's going to start opening other doors too of other ways that we can reach maybe minorities and women and things like that. So.
Definitely opening up different doors. Okay. Well, guys, thanks for that. Anything else on the education or apprenticeship program? Jordan, you got anything else?
Well, I got a little something, and it involves this guy. I know that I can't say, you had said is there any advice for some other programs out there? I know there's nobody like Jordan, and there probably never will be, but Jordan is a huge influence in that. He does the traveling for us, so we're down here in Las Vegas, this is our home base, but it really takes somebody physically going up there and talking to people and showing their supports, like, hey, Jordan is here from Las Vegas, he's here to talk about the PHCC and why you need to be a part of it, right? And I think that I know not everybody's going to have that asset, but I think that's huge for us in the success of our North and South programs. So
Find you a Jordan.
Yeah.
That's our advice.
Yeah.
Find you a Jordan,
Pay for
man.
the best we do, so, yeah.
The government relationships help that
Yeah,
So,
okay.
from now.
I'm gonna cut that part out too. I don't want Jordan's head to get very big. We're gonna have to, that was nice though, Dave.
It's big enough, so, yeah.
You know, I tell you, I gotta tell you, we talk about big. I went to Texas and with Mark and Greo, and for all you Texas people, I'm still mad at you. They gave him a hat, a cowboy hat, okay? And they didn't give me one, but really they said there's not a hat big enough to fit your big head. I mean, it was great. It was so much fun. But it was very, you know, it was great people just like you guys, man. It was fun. So you got any other topics you want to bring up while we're getting to the end of this thing?
Before we finish up, kind of goes back to what I think we do really well. Our members work together really well. COVID was a huge example during COVID. Our president, Howard Arata, our vice president, Mike Eigner, our board of directors and our members in constant contact. Hey, can you take a couple of my guys? I'm a little bit slow right now. Can you take a couple of my guys? Hey, can I borrow a forklift? Can I borrow a backhoe? You know, hey, I don't have enough material. Can you lend me some until I can, mine come in? And our board of directors are simply amazing of working together and helping our president, our vice president, our board, especially Howard, our president. On weekends, Howard, what are you doing? Oh, I'm going to help this person, or I took my backhoe over because somebody needs this or whatever. And you know, Mike, the rest of the board, they all do the same thing. They're constantly helping each other. You know, whether it's our associate members or somebody needs something, somebody usually raises that. We send out an email or say something at the meeting, and somebody will pop up and say, hey, I think I got something, and something to deal with and something to fix that issue or help with that issue. And our members are just simply unbelievable because they really help each other. They'll, you know, whether it's help, you know, taking guys, giving guys, hey, I'm in a bind, you know, I got 2 weeks to finish this up. Well, hey, take 5 of my guys and use them for 2 weeks to get your job where it needs to be. And they're really, really good at that. And they have great relationships working together doing that. So I think, again, what I start out with, it all starts with our members and our board of directors and the leadership we have, because they're the ones, especially, I'll just speak for myself, that they take the reins off and say, go get them, you know, and they have, I guess they have confidence that I'll do the job. And we're extremely fortunate to have that, because that's how I feel. But, yeah, so.
Yeah.
Those things don't just, hang on, those things don't just happen though, do they, Dave?
No, this is a work in progress.
Yeah, they do.
It just doesn't happen. You have to work on those relationships, you know.
Yeah.
I have a lot of trust in each other,
Yeah.
you know, especially to hand over your guys. But I think our events, they're around each other all the time. So I think that trust just naturally comes. We know we're all in it for the same purpose.
And I tell people all the time, our association sells itself. Either it works for you from a business sense or it doesn't, and you get out of it what you put into it. If we never see you and you don't get involved, quite frankly, it's not worth it. Probably may not be worth it to you.
Yeah,
But
don't
if
just
you are,
finish a check. Yeah.
if you are involved, you get out of it way more than what you ever put into it.
Well, guys, I normally at the end of these things, I try to put a ribbon on what we've just talked about, but I don't think I can top that. I mean, I do think that's what this is all about. Our organization all across the country is, you got to be involved. And if you are involved, you're going to get twice as much, 3 times as much, 4 times as much out of it as you put in. And I think that's the story I'm hearing from you guys. Isn't it? That,
Absolutely.
yeah, your partnerships that you've built, you know, and Jordan, I appreciate you saying, how you frame things is how you build incredible teams, because you don't ever want to take any credit. But obviously you can see, just as an outsider and then somebody that's gotten to know you guys, it's not an accident that you build the teams the way you do. Okay. And so in 3 years, 4 years,
I have the best team in the country.
yeah, well, and it's obvious, and the rest of the country sees what you guys are doing, and is very proud of what you're doing, and hopefully you guys are, and understand how great job you're doing, and everybody across the country sees it. And so congrats, and I look forward to coming out there again next time, and maybe I'd love to come back out and see you. And they probably have, they sell cowboy hats out in Nevada too, don't they?
They
Yes,
do.
sir.
Yes, they do. They don't sell them in Nevada, but they do sell them here in Nevada.
That's the best. Well, guys, anything else you want to add, Echo or Dave?
I would say the next time you come out, plan on coming out in around October-ish, right? We got a chili cook-off, an annual chili cook-off that we do every year. It's right around Halloween. It's a big event. We have some vendors, hanging around, showing their support and stuff like that. So that's a pretty fun one too.
My birthday's Halloween, so we'll try to do that. I mean, maybe I can try to do that this year, and or in the coming years. And then Echo and I'll play golf, and then we'll go from there.
Right?
And we'll have something to talk about on the next podcast.
If you've never eaten chili out of a toilet, come on to our event.
Oh man, hey, that's perfect. Well, guys, I have thoroughly enjoyed it, and hey, first of all, it's an honor to come out last Christmas. I really started. Was really the first trip I went on as the president, and you guys were so much class, and so just a great event, and hospitality at Jordan at your house. Had a ball, and as always ate too much, but just had a great trip, and good to see everything you're doing, and congrats for everything. And just look forward to hearing more about your success, and look forward to it. And thanks so much for being on the podcast today. We've really enjoyed it.
We'll see you in Charlotte.
We're definitely looking forward to it. Hey, and bring the next generation. We're asking every chapter to bring 5 or 6 guys under 40, men or women under 40, and we're going to be building the next generation. So get to work on that. I know you guys can. PHCC Rocks is a great adventure for our association, and today we got to hear from a great group out of the state of Nevada, and we look forward to keep working on our Southern pronunciations going forward, and we'll keep you guys in our prayers, and keep me in your prayers, guys out there, and please keep in touch with us, and we look forward to seeing what's next. Keep in touch, guys, and look forward to episode 14 coming up for PHCC Rocks. Have a great day.